Plasma number 2, 101. This is the assignment in which you are going to find your favorite decal on Google Images, and this is a nice example of something that is simple. It is just black and white. It is not loaded with lots of intricacies like a lot of you choose commonly the Browning symbol with the female deer inside the male deer thing, and that's a hard one to do, but it can be done. And you'll print that off, make it as big as you can on a regular standard printer size paper, and then print that off on the TechEd Phillips selection on your printing. Then you'll cut it out, like I've done so here, accurately onto the border line there. And then you're going to want to trace it out on a piece of 1/4 inch diameter or 1/4 inch thick piece of material. And I just found a lot of this stuff. Here's another one in the scrap bin. These big white bins in the Woods Lab. And you know, here's one here. And then there's also some thick 3/4 inch material. I would not recommend going with this. You got the 2 diameters. The thinner diameter is what works better for this project. Next, what we're doing is we're going to take this and transfer it onto that 1/4 inch material. And then we're going to cut this out. Here's a bandsaw, and right over here is another bandsaw. Both will work well. This bandsaw, if your image has curves, will work better on this. It can only do slight curves. It can't do real sharp curves. You'll break the blade or it'll fall off the wheel. This machine is a bandsaw and it only cuts straight lines. The blade is significantly wider. And since I have all straight cuts, I'm going to use this for this side, and then I'll go use the other bandsaw so we can get some experience looking at how that one operates. What I'm going to also do is here, I'm just going to cut this off so that another fellow student can use this piece here for the decal. And the other thing I would mention is that when you find your piece of scrap and you're transferring this on there, don't be the person who puts it in the middle and cuts it out in the middle. Shift it over to a corner so that we can use the rest of this for another student's project. Okay, so what a bandsaw does is there's a big band in there, kind of like a belt, and this just comes down. The motion here is down, and it will cut on the downward stroke. The other thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we don't cut ourselves, so we lower this guard just to a little bit above the material. And on this saw, we loosen this up, and then there's a arm back here that we can rotate, and we're just going to have this come down just a little bit above so that I can't get my fingers in there to cut them. We'll just do this same thing over on this one, except there's a wing nut back here, and that is the stop for that. So I can still put my project in there. All right, so I'll turn this on. It's a little bit noisy, and we'll just do a pretty straight cut on there. Top right this one. You got to make sure that this red button is all the way out, and that this black switch here gets pointed up. All right.
Pull the red switch out.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Show that one more time though.
So this is in. This is shut off. Power will not go onto here. We have to pull this out, and then this has to go up to turn the power on. Now to shut this off, you can turn this, you can push that in, or you can stand on the yellow part. And if you can hear, when I push down on this, you can hear the relay giving out in there, shutting the machine off. So there's 3 ways to shut it off, 1 way to start it. Let it get up to speed.
So one of the things you're doing is never putting your hands in line with the blade. So that if your hand would slip, it would slip past the blade instead of into the path.
I'm also not pushing on this very hard. I mean, I'm using, you know, no force to do this. And that's because I'm letting the saw do the cutting. It's a new blade, and we don't need to go fast with this. My piece is cut out. I'm going to do just a little bit of sanding on here because I don't know if you can see with the background. There's a little dip right there, and that will show up when I use this as a template for the plasma. I've got some scrap pieces here. Some of them may have fallen on the floor. It's your responsibility to pick those up and put them in that scrap bin. They're not garbage. They are put in the wood scrap bin because we do have people that come in and use this for firewood, and you're welcome to that as well. So clean up your area when you're done. We throw them back there. At the end, if you're the last one cutting for the day, just take a broom, sweep up around the area. Brooms are found right over here, and then the dust pans to pick up the sawdust, and that can go in the garbage. We do not put that in the wood scrap bin. Just to show you how to operate this one here. This is the Chevy symbol, but I forgot to stop part way. So I'm going to make a cut right here, connecting that. It'll just be a half a Chevy symbol. But to operate this one, start button, stop button, no other switches. And we lowered this down already. Garbage. Yeah. So then what we'll do, just like we did with assignment number 1, you'll set up the plasma cutter with the appropriate settings, and you will use this as a template to cut out your project, and then knock the dross off with a hammer, and then clean up any rough edges with the belt sander. That would complete the assignment, and then turn it in front of my desk on the table.